I started training 21 years ago, give or take. It was April of grade 9. I started training, and I started training very seriously right from the start. I already had bodybuilding magazines, and I knew that I wasn't a bodybuilder.
So how did that all start? How did you come to it?
What?
Oh, look at.
Yeah, it's a little more natural, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I should ask you. Go ahead.
No, so you pick up your first issue of bodybuilding magazine. What happened in your life that made you decide to do it?
Well, I tell people it was the movie Conan the Barbarian. I was staying up late one Saturday when I was 13, and it came on the CBC late movie, and my dad and I were up watching TV, and there was a scene where Conan was pushing the wheel as a slave, and it showed him get older, and at the end of the scene, he's Arnold, and I said, "Oh, I look like that." My dad said, "That'll take you 10 years. You must be 250 pounds." And my dad was right. So I did the weights right away. We had an old weight set in the basement. It was my brother's old weight set. I just started doing some exercises. And I didn't really know what I was doing, but I had a bit of instinctual awareness of what exercises should be. I've been in martial arts for years as a kid, so I knew a bit of function in the body. And so I trained in the basement for a few months, and then when I turned 14, I got a gym membership.
So that's been how many years has that been?
Well, 21. Yeah, 21.
So if you're 21 years later, did you ever expect that it would be top and what was runner-up national bodybuilder of the heavyweights across Canada?
Yeah, no, I never thought that far ahead. I did have an incident when I was 15, a year after I started training. The first show I ever saw was the Canadian Nationals, 1991 Nationals in Edmonton, at the Citadel Theatre.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember watching the competitors, and after the show, I said, I want to win that show one day. And 2007, I got my first national title. So, I never thought that was going to go that far, but I love bodybuilding from the start.
So was your focus when you were starting out? Was your focus a lot? Is it stronger now than it was then, or was it? Because to do that, I think it takes a lot of focus and determination, right? Like you got a clear goal.
Yeah, as a kid, all I knew, I trained really seriously for 2 years before I really understood nutrition. So there was a couple years there where I was focused on my workouts, but didn't have the nutrition down as a kid, right? So now, it's so ingrained in my lifestyle now that I don't have to think about it all the time. It's almost like an operating system in the background of my life. There's always planning and always meal times, and I don't have to think about it. It just happens. I'm so used to it. So it's not like it's a chore.
Yeah, it's just kind of the way it is. So what sacrifices have you had to make to get to where you're at? And for any competitor to be successful as far as competing, what would you say would be the main sacrifices?
Well, I've always loved bodybuilding, so it's never felt, I've never had moments where I felt like I was really giving something up. It was difficult to give something up. It's always been an easy choice for me. Competing at the national level, you've got through the summertime a lot, so I guess, sometimes summertime stuff happens and you wish you could do it, barbecues and stuff like that, but, I never really felt like I had to sacrifice good things to bodybuilding, because I've always loved what bodybuilding has given me. There's other types of sacrifices, like getting out of bed and do cardio in the morning, or training when you don't feel like training, or dieting when you don't feel like dieting. I mean, those are types of sacrifices, I guess, but that's just discipline and commitment and taking over at that point.
Okay. So if you were to go back 21 years, what would you tell yourself 21 years ago? All the sacrifices, all the...
I would say don't train through your injuries so often. Really, I'm 35, I've been training for 20 plus years, and that would be the number one advice I give to anybody, any young guy or girl who's training seriously. I would say, really take time on those nags, the ACPs. You hear that they catch up to you, you don't think they you do? You're like, I'm indestructible. I remember when I was 24, I'd be going to the gym and squat 5 plates and nothing hurt. And you're indestructible, you're Superman. When you get older, you realize that those older guys telling you to watch out for that stuff, they were right. I mean, it's a warning that it's always given to everybody in every sport. You hear guys in all sports tell that to the young guys. You take care of your injuries. And here I am telling other people that's definitely true.
So, who did you look up to, and who's your mentor coming up in this?
Well, as far as pro bodybuilders, Dorian Yates was always my idol, and I wasn't a bandwagon guy either. I liked Dorian Yates before he won the Olympia. When he first came out as a pro, I remember reading his articles and thinking everything he said made sense. And I started training like Dorian back in 1992 before he won the Olympia that year. So I've always been a big fan of Dorian. The work ethic, the commitment, the disregarding all the Hollywood scene of bodybuilding, and refusing to do studio photo shoots, only doing real photo shoots with real weights. That sort of thing always really attracted me, because that's what bodybuilding was always about. To me, it was really hard training. That was always the number one thing I liked the most. I tell people the stage may come and go for me, but the training was always the most important thing, and that's why Dorian was a role model. I had several guys in my life over the years that were role models as well. My friend Eric, back in Grand Prairie when I was just a kid, he taught me how to squat till he threw up in a bucket, and he taught me how to eat and stuff like that. And then years later, I found myself in Australia training with Mr. Universe competitor Nick Jones and Australian national champion John Beatty, and those guys were. That was before I'd ever done a show. I was training with those guys, so they were very serious high-level competitors, and I learned a lot about how to always have food prepared in the fridge,